I just had one of those I can't believe I said that moments. Have you ever had one of those? Do they drive you crazy? Because then you look back and go, where did that come from? How did those words even come out of my mouth? You know, there are conversations that sneak up on me sometimes, and I think I get caught up and I have this expectation I didn't know I had, and then words just fall out of my mouth. Thoughts become words, and a tone of voice that just startles me and I'm not expecting. I think back to other conversations I've had and I begin deconstructing them. I'm looking for, the source or the underlying idea of why I said those words or why I said that phrase or whatever I said in the tone that I said it in. And maybe there was a seed of disappointment, or there's a color of anger that brought me to this shade of verbal reaction. Yeah. And then, why did I take that tone again? And these words, and why did I hurl them? And maybe I hurled them at God. Why did I toss those words out? Why did I throw them at someone that is important to me or someone that I care about, and they just came flying out of my mouth without me even having time to catch them and drag them back? So conversations come, in different sizes and different intensities and different environments. And do I have one way of having a conversation with God, and then I have another way of having a conversation with someone else? And then is there a completely different way that I have a conversation with myself in my head? Or maybe it's not in my head. Maybe it's when I'm just saying silly things, talking to myself, not realizing the words that I'm saying are not actually kind and encouraging. Colossians 4:6, and this is from the Message, says, "Be gracious in your speech. The goal is to bring out the best in others in a conversation, not put them down and not cut them out." I love that translation, but if we go back to 4:5, you realize the context of this is Paul's talking to Colossians and saying, when you're talking to someone that's an outsider, someone that's not a believer, pay attention to what you're saying. Be kind, be gracious. Even in that context of speaking with someone who's not a believer and then speaking with someone who is a believer, I have to ask myself, why are these words like falling out of my mouth and that tone covering? And I have to go back and say, wait a minute, am I taking that tone with other people? Am I taking that tone with myself? Am I taking that tone and taking those words to God? How am I talking all the way around? Because you and I both know the things that you say inside your head to yourself, or when no one else is around, usually are pretty negative. And you're not going to say those to someone else, hopefully. You're not going to be blasting other people the way you blast yourself. So if we take Colossians 4:6, and even though it's saying be gracious in your speech to others, how about we start applying that to ourselves and be gracious to the speech to ourselves? And that is probably one of the more difficult things in my life, is to pay attention to the words I'm saying inside my head. How difficult is it, and I think it's really difficult actually at times, to say what you mean and how you feel in a way that's gracious, that's seasoned with salt, that's kind. All of these amazing things, because the mouth is the overflow of the heart, is what Scripture says. So that means what is overflowing out of my mouth to other people, but then what is overflowing out of my mouth to God? Because I think a lot of times for myself, which is really funny, I have this rehearsed, appropriate way to talk to God. Like He doesn't already know what's in my head and what I'm thinking, but I have to rehearse my prayer, quote unquote, and what I'm going to say to God and how I'm going to say it. And David said some stuff and Job said some stuff, and they kind of didn't hold back. They were not playing this rehearsed game. They had great respect and great awe, but at the same time, they were like, now can we just talk about this? Because this is tough stuff, and I'm not sure I like this. So here's where it gets really interesting. What if we pay so much attention to what we're saying that we can deconstruct the phrases and thoughts and words and put them back together in a way that is gracious and kind? And we can choose to be real with God and be real with other people, but we do it in this colorful, gracious, beautiful way. So we can face God with our disappointment and our hurt and our anger and know these are all parts of our life, and He already knows that. And we can deconstruct these thoughts and phrases in our head to ourselves and to God and to others, and we can reconstruct them and say them, and then let God come back and take the pain, the hurt, the disappointment, the anger, and He can give me the truth. He can give us the grace in the place of it. And that's what this would look like. It would look like breaking these conversations and thoughts and ideas apart and then putting them back together in a way that says, okay, these are all my broken pieces and all my cut up parts, and I don't like the way they feel, and I don't like the way I'm thinking about them, and I don't like the words that they are. So I'm just going to give them to you, and I'm cutting them up. And can you just put them back together in a manner that brings glory to you and shows me the truth of who you are? David and Job had these conversations with God and many other people in Scripture. And sometimes it looked like they threw a mild little hissy fit. And I'll tell you, my hissy fits are not usually mild. They're usually stomping my feet and pitching a little fit, going, this is not working. I don't like this one bit. I don't know how to fix this, God. I need you to come on the scene because this is not how I want it to be and not how I think you want it to be. So having said that, the reason in Scripture people could do this is they had a relationship with God that was, I don't like using the word real, but it wasn't this, okay, He's God and I'm this person and I have to be on my best behavior and watch my P's and Q's, and I can't say this and I can't say that, even though He already knows what we're thinking. So if we get to the place that we talk to Him and we understand He is real, He's not this pie in the sky grandfather, however, whatever word you want to throw in there, He's legitimately real, and He knows us, and He knows our heart. And we can look at these things, and we can look at these conversations, and we can deconstruct them. And we can do that because we know He loves us. He loves us more than anything ever created in the entire world. And right at this moment, when we're having a hissy fit, or we're upset, or we're crying, or things are not working, He already knows. And I don't say that lightly because I don't like this idea, oh, He already knows, it's okay. I don't like this Sunday school thing. I want the reality of He's not stopping me from having a hissy fit. He's allowing me to have it, and He's saying, okay, I know this stinks. I get it. Now let's deconstruct everything you just said, and let's put a different perspective on it. Let me show you how this works out and how it's going to be amazing and gorgeous. And deconstructing these conversations and these hissy fits and pain and all of those things that I'm trying to demonstrate, show, tell, however this works, it turns into this incredible mosaic, and you're going to have the best thing ever come from it.